And now we go back to you for the final thing we're going to be talking about this week, and that is Purple Hearts, which is also on Netflix.
Yes. This is again one of the ones that I was sort of bludgeoned into watching, really, because
by the
I couldn't.
Netflix algorithm.
Yeah, I couldn't, get away from it every time if I was like looking for anything, it would just like pop up on every list. It'd be like, okay, I'll watch it.
You want to watch a horror movie? Purple Hearts. Want to watch a rom-com?
Yeah,
Purple Hearts.
Yeah, it'd be like,
Are you
would
are
you
you looking for
recommend it?
are you looking for something that isn't animation? Purple Heart.
So it's just like, just watch it. And it's just like, oh, okay. It's not that long. I can sit through most things for. I was going to say I could sit through anything for an hour and a half, but then I did watch Persuasion, so it's like, no, that's just not true. So, yeah, it was not that long, so I could watch most things. So yeah, Purple Heart is I don't know if you'd call it a romantic comedy, because it's not really a comedy, but it's sort of like a romantic film, basically, aimed at a younger market. Yeah, aimed at an audience younger than me, so I acknowledge all that at the get-go, that I probably, even though it badgered me to death to watch it, I am probably not the target audience.
Yeah.
It is basically set in America. The two main characters, first one is a young woman who has recently been diagnosed as being diabetic, and anywhere else in the world that would be like so what? An interesting side issue, but in America apparently that means is a serious problem, because to pay for your insulin is insurance, and because she works as a waitress and she has got no family who can help support her, she cannot basically afford her insurance, and she cannot afford to pay for her own insulin.
Yeah,
It is baffling to me. I don't really quite understand how that can happen in the world, but this is the theme of the film, that this is why. And basically she's working in her bar, and a group of local sort of Marines come in. They're near an marine base, and they come in, and one of them says, hey, would you marry me, because hey, you get free spousal insurance.
Oh yeah.
And then for the soldier, you get married quarters, and you get married men's allowances, and hey, you get lots of money. And they basically these two people, one of them is a Marine. He suddenly thinks, actually, I need to pay off some debts. I could do with an extra $1,000 a month.
Yeah.
And if we go into a fraudulent marriage, effectively, then you can get your healthcare, and I can get my money. I can get my debts paid off. You can stay alive.
Yeah.
So it's a win-win. But the drawback is it is illegal, because the fact that healthcare is very expensive in America. The military are aware that people do enter into these fake marriages in order for them to get their healthcare paid for. So there is this element of jeopardy. So this couple, who basically don't really get along, but they decide they were going to enter into a convenience marriage. And
I have no clue where this could possibly end up.
Where this is possibly going, I know. And on the side, she is a bit of a songwriter, and she's a singer-songwriter. So she actually has written some songs. So while this is all going on, her and her band are like playing and performing their songs, and one of her songs becomes a bit of a viral hit, and she starts to get a little bit buzz about her own film career, her own music career.
Yeah.
So the story then progresses along those lines, and obviously I don't need to tell you how it ends. But for all that, the fact that it is,
I was going
there's
to say
nothing new,
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know, it could go the way of the Willoughbys. It could just end up with, oh yeah, she died. But
yeah, she didn't get her insulin, sorry.
No, I couldn't get an insulin, nope.
So they were thought, even though there's nothing new under the sun with this type of film, but
Yes.
I think what they did well.
Yeah.
And even though when she was speaking, I could understand what she was saying, because I'm not the best person with American accents. It sounds stupid for someone who watches a lot of films, but
Yeah.
I don't watch a lot of American television. I tend to watch almost exclusively British television. I'm not that good with American accents.
Yeah.
But I did actually understand everything she said. But when she started singing, I couldn't understand a word. Her singing voice, I've got no idea what you're singing. I could hear the chorus, because you're singing the same line over and over again. But all of I just couldn't understand them. She did some nice songs. I just didn't understand what they were about. I just couldn't.
It's like, I like that bit where the guitar comes in. Don't know what you were saying over it.
Yeah, it's kind yeah. So I know it's a nice song. It sounded nice, but I just didn't hear the words. I'm sorry. So I'll accept that's probably my not being able to work out again
Yep.
modern singing techniques and American accents together, not a best combination. But the songs were nice. So it had the music in it. It had obviously the romance in it. It had a bit of tension in it. It had both had their backstories that we're going to know about. So for what it was, I thought it did what it does well.
Yeah.
So I have seen worse after. It could have done some horrible things, but it did, it did its thing well.
Yes. Yes. So how many stars did you give it?
So for all that, I know we're having a bit of a 3 week. I would still give it a 3
Yeah.
because I enjoyed it. I thought it was well worth working. I'd recommend it. I said, yeah, it's a good hour and a half entertainment. Apart from that, you can't hear what the words are in the songs. But I enjoyed it. So yeah, I would say it's definitely worth it. But to me, I couldn't give it more than a 3 because it is. Give it 2 years and no one know what it was, but no one remember it.
No one remember that this film exists.
Yeah,
Oh,
but I enjoyed it.
You know that there are so many films on Netflix that I have forgotten are on there. That I have forgotten are in there somewhere. And I was actually thinking, I was trying to make a list of films that I've forgotten. Which obviously you can imagine that there's some challenges in trying to make a list about films that I've forgotten are on Netflix.
Yeah,
But
because